Now let's suppose we have a deer population, and the deer population is an exponential function of time. Well, an exponential function of time means what? An exponential function is a function of the form a b to the t, or in the notation that we've used for principles, which might also work for population, starting with p, we could use p naught b to the t, so our p of t might be p naught b to the t. We're given information that the population is 2400 when t is 0 and 1800 when t is 3. Well, if your population function, to kind of use a combination of notations, is an a b to the t, then what do we know? We know that the population is 2400 when t equals 0. So we substitute 2400 for p of t and 0 for t, and we get 2400 equals a b to the 0. Then p is 1800 when t is 3, so we substitute 3 for t and 1800 for your p of t, and we get this equation. This is a system of two simultaneous equations and two unknowns. What are the unknowns? A and b. So two simultaneous equations and the unknowns a and b. These are not linear equations, okay? They are power function equations, essentially. Not exponential, but we do have an exponential model. So how do we solve these equations? Well, in this case, the equations are quite easy to solve, but you can still learn something from doing it. We simplify the first equation. We've got a b to the 0 there. We can evaluate that for any b. b to the 0 is 1, so 2400 times a b to the 0 is 2400 equals a times 1, and a times 1 is just a, so we get a equals 2400. So we now know the value of a, and we can substitute that into the second equation. Plug that into the second equation, we get 1800 equals 2400 b cubed. So that b cubed is 1800 over 2400, and that's, of course, 0.75. So it follows that the solution is cube root of 75, which you can plug into your calculator as 0.75 to the 1/3 power, which I hope you know, and that's 0.91. Now, just in case you don't know about that 1/3 power thing, we had b cubed equals 0.75. Now, that means b cubed raised to the 1/3 is 0.75 raised to the 1/3. b cubed to the 1/3 is b to the 3 times 1/3 by our law of exponents. And that's just b to the 1, which is just b. So this says that b equals 0.75 to the 1/3. Now, 0.75 to the 1/3 is exactly what we mean by the cube root of 0.75. The 1/3 power is the cube root. So that turns out to be approximately 0.91, as we saw previously.